What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the 13th episode of the Niche Notable podcast with Nick and 40. For the first time, we have two guests, two kickers from Tennessee. We got Max Gilbert from University of Tennessee and Brock Taylor from Vanderbilt University. Fellas, what's going on? Welcome to the pod.
What up, Nick? Thanks
What's
for having
up?
us.
So, just like a brief backstory, you guys are from the same state, obviously big-time SEC kickers. Like, when did you guys first meet? When did you guys first kick together on the field?
You want to take it, Max, or me?
Yeah, sure. I don't even know. Was it that Coles camp in like 2021, maybe?
Yeah, I think the first time we actually met was at a Coles camp 4 years ago, but it wasn't when we started becoming friends. I feel like we just knew who each other were, and it was like a what's up.
Yeah, and then we trained with the same coach and just started hanging out in Orlando a bunch. And then now every time we go down there, we stay together.
Yeah, I think it was like Adam noticed that both of us were higher up in our class, and we were both from Tennessee, so we just started having us room together.
Yeah, so Adam Tanowski is like basically like the biggest name in kicking. Probably just he's the best at getting guys together, the best kickers, punters, snappers in the country. And for me, like when I was in high school, it was the best way to meet other guys in the class, be able to compete with guys of similar level. Did you feel like those were some like the best experiences you had in high school, just going to those camps?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for Max, but we would always plan around certain camps with each other and make sure we had friends going and stuff because it's nice because I think Adam does a really good job getting cool people who are also really talented together. So like every time we go to Orlando or just go see Adam anywhere, it's a group of your good friends, but it's also a bunch of the best guys in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like the Smoke Worlds.
Just like the environment of the camp. I feel like you go to a Coles camp and Coles does a great job. You go to a Coles camp, it's mostly just like ranking. Everyone's so focused and locked in. You go to Adam's camp, he's not ranking anybody. He's not filming anything. It's just us out there getting good work in. And by the time you're a junior, senior, everyone's best friends. So you get to hang out in Orlando, wherever we're at.
Yeah.
So when you guys both committed to Tennessee and Vanderbilt, obviously on the schedule, you guys play each other every year. Was that something that you talked about immediately, knowing November 29th, 30th, whatever the date was, like that's, when we're going to be playing against each other?
Yeah. I mean, you go ahead, Max.
I was just gonna say, I mean, year one, both of us weren't really worried about, playing against each other because neither of us were playing. But we were kind of just staring at each other across the sideline. There was a fight. We played in 2023. There was a fight between me and Brock. Both of us, like, they take our helmets for the game. Like, we weren't playing.
Yeah, like,
And we're, like, staring at each other across, like, just joking that we're going to start fighting. And then last year was awesome. We both got to play each other, both hit, like, big field goals against each other. And it was really cool to do it on that stage.
yeah, I feel like from my experience, as soon as we were both committed, it was kind of a realization of, dang, we get to keep kicking against each other. Because we've always been best friends, but we're also competing against each other pretty much every time we see each other, which is super fun. And so, like, when we realized we were both going to get to play at the level of kind of like, damn, we're really doing this now. I thought that was sick. And then, yeah, I mean, freshman year was like kind of like a clown show because both of us knew we weren't playing. But last year was super cool. I mean, getting to be on the sideline of a game that Max was playing me in and seeing him hit like a 50 or 51 yarder. I mean, it's kind of surreal. It was super cool to see. And it's a lot of fun knowing that we're both locked in, but also after the game, I get to go up to him and like give him a big hug and, tell him how much it makes me happy to see him play well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so during halftime, when you guys are warming up, are you guys talking to each other or are you sort of staying on opposite ends?
That'd be
I'm
one,
trying to think.
Like, our coaches just would get mad, though.
Yeah.
Like our other like third best friend is Peyton Woodring at Georgia, and my freshman year he played as a true freshman, and he came up to me at halftime when they played us in Neyland in 2023, and we were losing by probably like 20 points, and he came up to me and like started joking around, like making jokes, and my special teams coordinator like ripped me a new one. He was so mad. He was like, "We're losing by 20 points, and you're goofing off with the other team's kicker." But I think at halftime at the game last year, we were like just kind of trying to whisper to each other as we walked by. Like
Yeah.
it was like the game was like tied.
Yeah, it was similar for me too. Like it's actually very similar to Peyton. I think Peyton's coaches are a little bit more relaxed about him just kind of like talking to people. And my coaches do a good job of it too. Like they know that these guys are my good friends. But I remember like the week that we were playing Tennessee, they kind of in one of our meetings they held me back and like literally like, listen, we know you're best friends with Max, but like when we're on the field, like it's got to be business. We can't see you like and him drown in the middle of the game, which I understood. You know what I mean? So and Max knows that too. So yeah, it was kind of like a whispering like good hit on the first ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard because kicking, you guys aren't really going against each other. So, I mean, it's kind of hard not to root for the guy across the field, just knowing everything that he's been through to get to that point and all the practice, all the hours that the other guy has gone through. It's hard not to root for him in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely. My coaches would get mad at me because I'd be like, I hope he hits this well. Yeah, obviously we're trying to win, but I mean that's my buddy. Like, I want to
Yeah,
see him do well, and hopefully our team just plays good enough to keep us in the game.
of course. All right, Knoxville and Nashville, probably two of the best college towns. Which one would you guys say is the better college town overall?
I mean, I'm probably biased, but like Max has visited me a couple times. Nashville's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'd say Nashville's not really I'd say Nashville's not really a college town. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Knoxville pretty much feels like a college town. It feels like Athens, Georgia. It feels like Oxford, Mississippi, or like the university's in the center of the whole city, and everyone's a Tennessee fan. We're in Nashville. I mean, how many people are like 5 million? Something crazy.
Yeah, it's very different because like obviously growing up in Knoxville, I spent like that second half of my senior year, like my parents finally let me go out a little bit with some friends and stuff, and like obviously that's super fun because yeah, Tennessee's a great college town. I mean, Knoxville's super fun, and yeah, everything's centered around the university. It's a good time, but Nashville's it's definitely a different vibe, but it's like it's kind of hard to explain to people. It's almost like if you're going out in Nashville, you know where all the Vandy students are going to be that night or that day. So it ends up feeling like you're at a college bar with all your friends, just on a little bit higher scene, if that makes sense. So they're
Yeah,
both super fun in their own ways.
yeah, I definitely say Knoxville is a better college town, but Nashville's a better overall city. I mean, there's so much to do. It's huge. Where Knoxville, it's just like, I mean, I'll go in season, besides away games, I'll go 5 months without leaving a 2 mile radius, literally.
Yeah, that is true. Like the fall, it just depends. I've talked to Max about this. Spring kind of feels like you're actually a student, which you can probably relate to that, Nick. Like fall's a little bit more like, you don't get a weekend for a couple months straight. And like, it's fine. I enjoy the fall too, but spring semester is definitely a lot of fun. Even during spring ball, you have a Saturday morning scrimmage. You can still plan weekend.
Of course, like the away games are like the only time during the fall that I ever leave the city of New Haven. So as soon as I'm graduating, I'm hoping to head down to all the SEC schools, see some of like the biggest games, and go with my buddies, just check out like every atmosphere they got. But what would you guys say is the best away atmosphere in the SEC? Like the coolest place you guys have kicked at?
You got it next.
Coolest away, I'd say probably Georgia. And Brock was actually at that game last year. We
Yeah.
played Georgia. That was like basically whoever won that game went to the SEC championship, and we ended up losing. But there was like 95,000 in that stadium, and it was the whole game just deafening. And I think underrated was Oklahoma. We played Oklahoma in their first ever SEC game, and that place was so loud. It was only like 80,000. I mean, I say only, I mean, because Neyland's like 102, but that place was super loud. That's the closest I've ever seen the fans next to the field. It's like if you sat down on the bench, the dude in the first row could slap you in the helmet. And there was like a yard between my feet and the actual field when I'm sitting down on the sideline. And then non-SEC, probably Ohio State. We got to unfortunately met and got in their way in the playoffs. That stadium was unbelievable. Like a night, they haven't had a night game there in years because in Fox has the noon kickoffs, and it was their playoff game, and that was the coldest I've ever been in my life. It was like 10 degrees, and we ended up losing by like 25, but that environment was awesome.
What are you doing on the sideline during those cold games to try to keep your legs warm?
It's so bad. That was the coldest. I think the coldest game I ever had. When we played in Nashville, it's the last game of the year. It was probably like 35. Like it was pretty cold. But that game, I go out for warm-ups, and like I hate wearing tights. Like I'm not a tights guy. And I go out there, and it felt like I was doing an ice bath. I think the wind chill at kickoff was like 9 degrees. And I grew up in Tennessee. Like I've never felt anything like that for a long time. So I'm on the sideline, like in a jacket. And we had heated benches, but like nothing prepares you for all of like when I'm out there, because you warm up, you don't go to the bench for a while. I mean, you're out there in the field for like an hour. And I genuinely like was getting nauseous from how cold I was.
Yeah. That's such a bad feeling. I hate the cold too. I always like make jokes about that. But I mean, coolest atmosphere for me this year. Sorry, I feel like I don't really count many of the games freshman year just because like I remember UF being sick, and similar to what you were saying about Oklahoma, it's like Florida's right on your back. But I wasn't playing, so it's like I didn't really get to take it all in. But this season, underrated, I would say. I had pretty low expectations for Kentucky, to be honest. I feel like that's like not to diss any of the Kentucky fans, but like I just always growing up thought of Kentucky as kind of a worse version of Tennessee, in my opinion. And so that game, though, the stadium was really loud, and it was pretty surprising. I mean, it caught me off guard. They were very loud, and then the coolest atmosphere I would have to say I got to experience Death Valley at night this year, which like I had never even been to LSU's campus. And so I remember getting in that stadium, and LSU fans are just feral. I mean, I remember we're on the bus, like pulling up to the stadium, and there's like literal 8-year-olds giving the buses the birds, like right in front of their parents. And I'm just like, geez. But that stadium was loud, and LSU is like, I don't know if either of y'all have ever been, but one side of the stadium's way higher. And I kind of just remember looking up and being like, oh my gosh, like this place is massive. And it got really loud. And at nighttime, their light show was pretty cool. So yeah, I would say those were the two coolest this season. Auburn was pretty cool too.
Yeah, so being kickers, obviously kicking nets on the sideline in those stadiums where the fans are super close to the kicking net. Have you ever dealt with hecklers? Because in my first game against Holy Cross, there was a guy maybe 2 feet from my ear. I was like lining up. It was a fourth quarter situation. He was just kept jawing at me from 2 feet away. You guys ever deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Max's is probably similar, but I think it'd be more of like, it's pretty rare to find a game where you're not dealing with that, especially like just the SEC stadiums are always just packed. And so the net's normally fairly close to the fans. And a lot of the times it's lower levels. So you're near a student section or just a bunch of college students. And I mean, I'm not really built like a college football player. So often I get a lot of those chirps, but yeah, I mean, pretty much the whole game. I'm over there on the bike or near the net, and I'm just getting hammered. I can't say most of them on camera, but they give me good laughs. It doesn't really
I
bother me. It
got you.
just kind of makes me laugh.
Those are probably my honestly the worst I got it all year was at Vandy because like when I was at Georgia, like at the hedges, the fans are super far away. I can't even hear them. And then we were at Arkansas, and their fans were kind of further away. Oklahoma, we were beating them like the whole game, so honestly, that wasn't really getting it that bad. But Vandy, like my kicking net was right next to their student section, and the whole game it was like probably 20 people every single time. Even when I wasn't kicking, if I just like walked by, like you said, I can't say it on camera. It was just the most ridiculous things that they were yelling at me, and but it was fine. And I Brock's the same way. Like that, we don't care about that. Honestly, we laugh to ourselves.
Yeah, it makes me laugh pretty hard. It's like, I don't know, Mizzou, there's the student section was right beside me, and so just like the whole game, like I'd be on the bike, and like I vividly remember like I was losing it because these guys just kept yelling like, Brock, like get on the bike if you're blah blah blah. You know what I mean? I'm already on the bike. I was losing it. They were so funny. But yeah, it's like every game.
You gotta giggle about it if you're a specialist. Yeah, we're in sort of our own world over there on the sideline. But you guys have any weird like rituals or superstitions, pregame songs that you listen to like before every game?
You go first, Max.
Uh, I don't know. I wear the same pair of socks, but I'm pretty sure a lot of guys do that. And that's not even superstitious. I just like the socks. When I do the exact same pregame warm up every single time, like the same like 15-minute stretching routine, and then I hit like five. I hit three like no steps from PAT, right hash, left hash. Then I go to the right side and do one step from the sideline, three and then three. I go do the exact same kicking warm up every single game, but music wise, a lot of times I don't even listen to music honestly. I kind of just like it's like I just listen to the other guys in the locker. I don't know if it's the same for y'all, but everyone has their own headphones on pregame and they're singing their songs in their headphones as loud as possible. That's all I hear in the locker room. Guys like James Pierce was the worst with it. He's literally like screaming his music, and honestly, Brock knows Tyler Barron, who's now I think he just got
Yeah,
drafted. He
he just got drafted.
he'd be like screaming like young boy, and I wouldn't listen to music. I'm just sitting there like trying to lock in, and all I can hear is our D lineman like screaming young boy, like all the different young boy song.
Yeah, I like. I'm a little bit different. I was actually having this conversation with someone last night. Like, I'm just not superstitious at all, which I feel like you see a lot of specialists who are. Like, I think Max is similar. Like, yeah, the same socks. Like, if you wear true socks every game, it's just you like to kick in true socks. It's not even like. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have like I have a routine. Like, I listen to rap music on game days, like a ton of rap music. But I mean, warm up wise. I go out to the field, like one of our practice fields, and stretch alone before the specialists go out. And I don't really have a firm order that I go through it in, but I just stretch by myself. And then when we get out to the field, I mean, my warm up's different every game. I kind of just go out and I hit my one steps from the 40 or from the 30 until my leg feels warm. And then I kind of just bounce around each side for 10 minutes. Like, I don't even know before I get like fully warm, and then I hit a couple live kicks on each side, and then after that, I'm kind of just chilling. I don't know. I've never really believed in superstitions. I kind of just, I'll wear different cleats. I'll wear different socks. I just try to make sure that I'm warm. I'm like a stiffer kicker, so as long as I feel loose, I feel like I'm fine.
Yeah, when I first started, I would kick like 100 balls over the course of the game into the net and like 50 balls during warm-ups. And then somebody told me, they're like, you're not going to learn how to kick or get better like during the actual game itself. So I just
hmm
started taking like maybe two every 7 minutes over the course of the game or two every 15 minutes. So
I was gonna say like yeah, similar to that. Like I feel like I don't know about Max, but on the sideline for most of the game, like, until the ball is in or close to field goal range, like I'm pretty much just talking to my friends on the sideline the whole time. I just kind of chit
Yeah.
chat and make sure like while I'm staying warm, I just talk to my buddies.
I literally sit down the whole game unless our offense like crosses the 50-yard line.
Yeah, literally. I'm the exact same.
I got you. All right, so obviously NCAA video game came out last summer. When the game first came out, did you guys play as yourselves, and did you change your position to like a running back with like 60 overall speed, anything like that?
I wasn't even in the
You go
game.
ahead, Max. Yeah, I forgot about that.
They didn't. So I coming in when the game came out last summer. I guess it like a lot of the media surrounding Tennessee football and really the college football world like didn't really know who I was. Like they had no idea that I hadn't even because we had the other kickers on our roster. Like I was the youngest one last year. So I guess the media just kind of and my freshman year, like I wasn't even the backup. They had like we had a 6 year senior and then the guy that kicks off for us, he was the backup. So it kind of wasn't in anyone's mind and outside of the program that I had a chance to even play. So, and they only added like what was it, 85 guys per team in the game. So I wasn't even in the game when it came out. They didn't add me until like week 7 of the college football season when they did like their midseason update and added players who weren't originally in it. But yeah, honestly, I don't think I've ever like played a full game of that game. But I've definitely gone into like the training mode and just see how far my character can kick the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when the game came out. Like I'm not good at football video games. Like I've never really been on Madden or anything like that. And so like I remember like when I figured out I was going to be in it, it was cool. I was pretty excited just because it's like, oh shoot, like you're about to be in a video game. The game came out. I downloaded my like version that they gave me and like checked my rating, and I was like, bro, like I'm so bad. Like, my rating is honestly better than I thought it was going to be, just because I was like, I'm redshirt freshman, haven't played a snap. Like they're probably going to hose me. But I remember the day the game came out, I played one of my friends at school once and like quit halfway through because he was like beating me by 40, and I haven't touched the game since. And then I remember like when the midseason update came out, they had boosted my rating some, so I was excited about that. But it's literally just like for personal like ego boost. Like it's not even like I suck at the game. Like it was just cool to see in a game. And then I think the funnier part was getting like Snapchats from my friends like every week of them like hitting or
And
missing a
as
field
you,
goal with me. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even know what to tell you. Like I got
yeah,
a couple Instagram DMs of someone like saying like you just missed a game tying field goal for me. Like what the? And I'm like, yeah, I'm
what
sorry.
am I
Dude,
gonna
my guy,
do? Yeah.
yeah, my guy sucks. Like I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I mean, it
uh,
was a cool experience though.
So, like, other than like video games, what types of stuff do you guys do outside of kicking and football? Like, I had you guys send me some golf shanks about a month ago or whatnot. You guys play a lot of golf, anything like that other than football?
Yeah, I mean, I know Max does too. Like we golf a ton. Like every time I'm in the same city as Max, we go play golf together. And then back at school, I've got a good group of buddies on the team and at school that like to golf. So I mean, I feel like pretty much most of my free time outside of school and football, I golf a ton. I used to play Fortnite a little bit, but that's not that much. I like to play golf a lot.
Yeah, mine's probably golf too, but it's so hard. I mean, I'll go from not playing around from July to like March every year because you can't play in the fall and then it's too cold when you come back. So I think this calendar year I've probably played like 2 rounds of golf. But definitely now that we have some time over the summer, summer's the best time to get out and play. I'm definitely just gonna play a lot of golf and pretty much just do that and rot on my couch. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, like like through summer, like that last summer, I probably played like 4 times a week in Nashville while we were at school, and then yeah, obviously fall comes around, and like you definitely can't play through camp. But it's like I don't know, I love golf so much. It's kind of like a meditation for me too. Like I'm not superstitious, but like pretty much all season this semester, this past fall, I only had one class, or I had no class on Fridays. So like I would get out of meetings in the morning and then go to the range until we got on the plane, and like I'd go play, and like I remember we were at maybe Auburn or Kentucky, and we were staying on a golf course, and I like tried to go play around, but they wouldn't let me because my back was bothering me. So I just went and putted with my punter. Like we asked if we could borrow putters and a couple balls, and like putted all morning and up until the game. So yeah, I mean, It stinks because fall comes around, you can't play for months straight. But then once spring and summer hit, I'm playing multiple times a week.
Yeah, I think so. We have off on Mondays during the season, so I think this year I'll maybe play 9 holes every Monday, something like because it's a good meditation method, something to keep your mind off of football. Could be
Yeah, it's
frustrating
so
though.
nice.
Take a couple of shots may not be the most meditation method, but
Yeah, I feel like I was talking about that helped me kicking wise is because I feel like I don't get mad on the golf course. Like my main playing partner at school is one of our backup quarterbacks who I'm best friends with, and like he gets so pissed. Like I feel like I never really get mad on the golf course. Like I don't owe it to myself to be good. I don't practice enough, so it's like it is what it is.
yeah. All right. So moving on. So obviously NIL has affected college football a crazy amount. The past 2 years. Obviously, a lot of guys in both your teams have entered the portal or have joined your team. Like, what's it like trying to build a relationship with guys that are constantly leaving and joining the program? Like, you enter the locker room, like somebody's locker's cleaned out. How's it dealing with that?
You go ahead, Max.
I don't know. I just feel like that's how it is nowadays in college football. It's rare nowadays to find a guy who's loyal to a program, and honestly, the mindset and the fact that there's so few people, that means that people who even stay aren't really loyal. And so, when a guy leaves to go for an opportunity to go make more money somewhere else, the vibe in the locker rooms, all the guys are just like, "Well, go get what's yours." Like they don't even honestly, nobody really has hard feelings, which sucks because I mean it's tough to build a team chemistry when you constantly have a lot of guys leaving. But I feel like that's just how college football is now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's super different. I feel like we were fortunate though when we first got to school. That was kind of how college football was going nowadays. So it's like it doesn't really feel like I ever experienced a time where like it was a perfect world where like you're spending no matter what you're spending 4 years with your guys. Yeah, I mean, kind of like what Max said. I feel like our program does a pretty good job of like retaining guys that we would want to keep, and because we take a pretty big developmental approach, so it's hard with how NIL is like. It's the same thing. If a guy gets a crazy offer from another school, you're not mad at them. You want them to do what's best for them. But yeah, I mean, honestly, more than anything, I feel like it makes me sad. I like most guys on our team, so seeing someone that you love leave, you're like excited for them and hope they go do super well. But you never love to see someone who you're good friends with on the team leave your school. With the effect it's had on me personally, it's more just like keep playing well and stuff will work itself out. I really want to stay at Vanderbilt and I hope things continue that way. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's just the nature of college football these days. I think Bill Belichick might have cut all four kickers on their roster in the
Hmm.
past month or so. All right,
Nice.
so last couple of questions here. So Brock, you guys beat Alabama when they were number one in the country. What was it like during that game, and what was Nashville like following that win?
Yeah, I mean that was a fun one. It's funny because Max knows like I like to dance in the locker room and stuff. Like I'm a pretty not like negatively emotional. I just like to have fun with the sport type of guy. But anytime we win an important game, I'm more just like I really want to move on to the next one and keep winning. I just really like to win. But that game was special. I'm throughout the game realizing that we were probably going to pull it off. And, Bama's obviously a super talented team. And, we all have buddies on every SEC team. So, there's guys on the other side of the field that you love. But winning that one was fun. Yeah, Vanderbilt is pretty strict with campus security and stuff, just being in a bigger city in a smaller school. And just one of the higher education schools. They're pretty strict on everything. It's less just free flow, let everyone do what they want. But that night, I remember it was almost like campus security kind of just made a mutual agreement with the students to not mess with anything. It was fun. Nashville was electric. We had a huge party, and normally like at Vandy, if it's an on-campus thing, like they're super strict with attendance and making sure capacity isn't hit. But I remember this house was just flooded with probably everybody that I know. And I after our games, I lived with 9 other football guys who were all like my best friends, but I was probably the only one in the house just because we were all younger that was playing. And so after every game, like I kind of go home and I like to watch the film and see how things went before I get out. And so I was the last to leave our house, and I remember the walk to this party was pretty like it was just me alone walking down the street, and I turn a corner and I see like a flood of students walking to the same place that I am, and everyone's just kind of like coming up to me and like swarmed me, and it was like, wow, this is a really cool experience. And I mean, we obviously went out that night, and I remember one of our teammates' parents had rented out Barstool for the whole team, and so like it was like pretty much as good as it could have gone. You get everyone that you want to see in the same place that night. Didn't pay for a thing, and Nashville just erupted with. It was just a really fun night, and that's one that it's special to me, and I remember pretty much my whole family was at that game too. So kind of getting to give them hugs and be like, damn, that just happened before I got to go out and get after it with my buddies was it was special. I'll remember that one for a long time.
That's pretty cool. And then Max, obviously, I don't want to bring up a bad memory, but that game against Ohio State, being the first year of a 12-team playoff, like what was that environment like? I know you touched on it earlier, but playing in front of 100,000 people, a sea of red. I know it was a bunch of orange too, but like what was that game like for you?
No, that game was really surreal. It was everything just felt so weird, like flying into Columbus. Like it seemed like there was a lot of orange in the whole city. I remember pulling up to the stadium and it was like the loudest I've ever heard, like us walking into a stadium, even for a home game, and we had 40,000 people at Vol Walk. There were probably 20,000 Tennessee fans like lining the streets when our bus pulled into the shoe. And then, yeah, it was so cold. I know I said it earlier, but I can't even emphasize it enough. It was so cold. And even walking out, running out for the first time for warm-ups, like in my pads, it was insane just looking around at this stadium. And I mean, that was the first time there had ever been a December game in that stadium in its history. It was so loud. Even with all the Tennessee in there, it was unbelievably loud. It was, even though obviously we got killed, it was such a cool experience, be in the first 12-team playoff and then play the national champions, and on the other side of the ball get to watch like a bunch of Ohio State guys who are probably going to be maybe even Hall of Famers like Jeremiah Smith and Jack Sawyer, their quarterback, Judkins, Travion Henderson. It was just warming up. It was kind of just looking over at their sideline and being like, I mean, how did these guys lose to Michigan? And then game started. It's I mean, it was 21-0 after about 8 minutes. And we were just like, jeez. And like as a kicker, like obviously you're invested in the game and everything, but it's just different because like you can't really make an impact in terms of like the physical aspect. So kind of just sitting there feeling like helpless as like Jeremiah Smith bombs us over the top for the fourth time.
It's hard to
It
get like
sucked.
psyched up before games and like get listen to like whatever Metallica because like you're going out there to kick the ball. You're not going out there to like hit somebody. All right, so last question. We got the niche notable question of the day. So next year's game, Tennessee versus Vanderbilt. Let's say the game is tied with like a 2-minute situation. The other guy is going to line up for a game-winning kick. Are you guys rooting for that guy, or are you hoping that he misses, shanks it left?
I feel like my take with this is I would just hope that Max gets blocked. I hope he hits a great ball and we blocked it. Like I would never wish a miss over any of my buddies. I mean, I don't think the game's super important to me, but I'd rather see one of my best friends be successful than me get to go home with a trophy. So yeah, I mean, I think absolute best case scenario is Max walks out there and we block it.
Yeah, I mean, I would never hope for a shank, but I wouldn't mind if he hit the upright. So definitely not standing on the sideline being like, I hope he makes this, because like,
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not gonna sit there and like be on my knees praying Max just murders us down the middle. But
if he hits the upright, like I'm celebrating. I'm running on the field.
That's the worst sound in all football. Doink.
mhm,
All right, fellas. I really appreciate your time. Wishing you guys the best in your season. You guys are going to be what? Redshirt, I guess, sophomores now?
mhm.
Yeah. All right, so a lot of college football left to play, but thanks for coming on. Really appreciate your time.
Of
Thank you.
course. Thank you for having us, Nick. Appreciate
All
it.
right, you got it.